An 11-year-old boy, no dad on the pit wall, no familiar face behind the pit board. Just him, a race car, and an entire NASCAR world watching. Heartbroken and hoping. What happened at Charlotte Motor Speedway this week hit differently. And if you're a real NASCAR fan, you probably felt it too. Real quick, if you love this sport as much as I do, hit that like button and subscribe to NASCAR Nation News. We're pushing toward our next subscriber milestone, and this channel is all about real fans, real conversations, and the sport we live and breathe every week. Now, let's get into it. This past Tuesday night, Brexton Busch climbed back behind the wheel of his Legends car at Charlotte Motor Speedway. On the surface, it looked like just another practice session. The Summer Shootout is right around the corner, and young drivers across the country are getting their laps in. But this wasn't just another night, not even close, because only days earlier, NASCAR lost Kyle Busch, one of the most talented, controversial, respected, and unforgettable drivers this sport has ever seen. Gone. And now his 11-year-old son was back under the lights, doing the one thing that probably made any sense at all right now: racing. At first, nobody knew what that moment would feel like. But when the car rolled onto the track, it was impossible not to feel the weight of it. And here's the thing. Brexton Busch isn't just a kid driving race cars because his dad did. He's a legitimate racing talent. Last year, he became a Legend Car national champion at just 10 years old. Think about that. Kyle Busch didn't raise a hobbyist, he raised a racer. And watching that ServPro number 19 roll out at Charlotte this week, I'm not going to lie, it got me. There was something powerful about it, something bigger than a practice session, because every lap carried a story, every lap carried a legacy, and that's when another detail caught people's attention. Charlotte Motor Speedway shared photos from the session, and Brexton wasn't the only familiar name out there. Keelan Harvick, Kevin Harvick's son, was on track too. That might sound like a small thing, but it isn't. These kids are growing up together inside the NASCAR world. They're experiencing the same pressures, the same expectations, and now the same heartbreak. They're competitors, but they're also part of the same racing family, and honestly, that's NASCAR at its best. Then something unexpected happened. The conversation quickly shifted toward what could be coming next, because the Summer Shootout has a history of attracting some serious talent. Last year, fans saw drivers like Bubba Wallace and Gisbergen jump into Legend cars and put on a show. And speaking of SVG, he's been absolutely on fire on oval tracks lately. If you've watched his progression, it's hard not to notice the connection. Those Legend cars teach drivers a lot, far more than people sometimes realize, which raises an interesting question. What happens if more Cup Series drivers decide to show up this summer? What happens if some of NASCAR's biggest names roll into Charlotte and race alongside Brexton Busch? Just imagine that for a moment. The atmosphere, the emotion, the support, the message it would send. And knowing the NASCAR community, I wouldn't rule it out, not for a second. Because when this sport comes together, it comes together in a way few others can. However, there was one thing that stood out above everything else: the strength of the Busch family, the grace, the resilience, the ability to keep moving forward through something most of us can't even imagine. Brexton getting back in that car wasn't just another race. It wasn't business as usual. It was something much deeper than that. It was a young racer honoring everything his father built. Every lesson, every sacrifice, every mile, every dream, and in a way, every lap Brexton turns keeps a piece of Kyle Busch on the racetrack. That's why so many people will be watching when the Summer Shootout begins. Not because of the results, not because of the trophies, but because of what that No. 19 represents: a family, a legacy, and a young driver carrying both forward. Our thoughts and prayers remain with the entire Busch family. And when that green flag drops this summer, you can bet the eyes of the NASCAR world will be locked on Brexton Busch. Now I want to hear from you, and I mean real talk. No sugarcoating. Do you believe Brexton Busch has what it takes to reach the Cup Series one day and carry the Busch legacy into NASCAR's highest level? Let me know down in the comments. And if this story hit home for you, even a little bit, hit that like button, subscribe to NASCAR Nation News, and join the conversation. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.